Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of our First John study. In our last study, the assignment was to go through and make as many observations as possible of First John 3, 4 through 10. This section has a lot to tell us, so let's jump right in. Now, as I'm flipping the camera around, remember this section is very much in context with the section before it, and really we need to be making sure that we're looking back at the previous passages to make sure that we're keeping things consistent. So in this section, you remember, we have these statements about sin, about abiding. Let's see what we learn specifically about those who practice sin. Those who practice sin, they also practice lawlessness because sin is lawlessness. We see that very clearly right here, verse 4. Everyone who makes a practice of sinning also practices lawlessness. Sin is lawlessness. Now that's a great definition of what sin is. Sin is going against God's laws. It is living as if there are no laws, thus lawless. They are also, it says, of the devil. They are also, it says, of the devil, verse 8. Now that's a pretty strong statement. Verse 8, he says, whoever makes a practice of sinning is of the devil, for the devil has been sinning from the beginning. So, whoever makes a practice of sinning, that means doing it over and over, that's a habitual thing, they're of the devil. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that. They want to think that they can do a little bit of sin here and there and have their little secret sin and be okay. But he says, whoever makes a practice of sinning is of the devil. He also says that those who make a practice of sinning, they're not of God. Verse 10. Verse 10, by this it is evident who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is the one who does not love his brother. So, those who make a habit of sinning, those who do not practice righteousness, they're not of God. We also learn a lot about God's children in relation. That should be relation, not react. I don't know what word I tried to spell there. Anyways, God's children in relation to sin. We see that Christ appeared to take away sin. You know that he appeared in order to take away sin, and in him there is no sin. So his purpose in coming was to take away sin. We also see that God's children, they do not keep on sinning. Verse 6. Verse 6 we read, no one who abides in him keeps on sinning. No one who keeps on sinning has either seen him or known him. So if we claim to abide in him, we need to not keep on sinning. We also see that God's children, they do not make a practice of sinning. That's very similar, just slightly different wording. Verse 9. Verse 9, no one born of God makes a practice of sinning, for God's seed abides in him, and he cannot keep on sinning because he's been born of God. So again, that word practice. What are you practicing in your daily life? Then we learn also about righteousness in this section. We learn that to be righteous, you have to practice righteousness. Now that statement, it seems pretty clear. Let's look at it. He says, whoever practices righteousness is righteous, as he is righteous. While that statement seems pretty obvious, a lot of times people try to go around this. They want to say, well, I'm righteous even though I don't practice righteousness. But to be righteous, you have to practice righteousness. You have to do the deeds that are righteous. Tagging right on the end of that, we learn that righteousness is imitating God. It says that it's because he is righteous. So if we're practicing righteousness, we're imitating God, and that is what we need to be doing. We also learn that whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God. It's at the end here. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is the one who does not love his brother. So, someone can't say, yeah, I'm righteous, I'm a Christian, if they don't practice righteousness. Finally, we learn in this section about the devil. We learn that he sinned from the beginning, and that his children do not practice righteousness. We read here, whoever makes a practice of sinning is of the devil, for the devil has been sinning from the beginning. And it is evident who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. So who are the children of the devil? Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God. So if they're not of God, then they are by definition of the devil. Nor is the one who does not love his brother. So we see here this strong comparison between practicing righteousness and practicing sin or lawlessness. Now, there are more observations we could make, but we're going to wrap it up there as we're over 5 minutes already. The assignment for our next video, go through and study 1 John chapter 3, verses 11 through 15. Find as many observations as you can about 1 John 3, 11 through 15, and we'll talk about that in the next video. Have a good one.